my beloved child. Today, I want to tell you a beautiful story about a man that through his obedience, my promise was fulfilled. His name was Abraham, as it's written in the Bible. By faith, Abraham, when I, God, tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. He reasoned that I, God, could even raise the dead. Hebrews 11:17-19. When I first called him, he was living in comfort, surrounded by family, land, and all he knew. But I said to him, "Leave your country, your people, and your father's household, and go to the land I will show you." I gave no map, no details, only a promise. And Abraham obeyed. He walked away from everything familiar because his heart believed my word. That first step of obedience set in motion the destiny I had written for him. Every act of faith you take, my child, does the same. You may not see the whole picture, but I do. When you walk in obedience, you align yourself with a story greater than your own. Years passed. Abraham and his wife Sarah waited for the promise, a child. The years grew long, and their hope began to fade. But I reminded him, "Look up at the stars, so shall your descendants be." He looked up into the endless sky and chose to believe. That belief, that obedience of the heart, was counted to him as righteousness. And just as I said, I fulfilled my word. In their old age, Abraham and Sarah laughed with joy as they held their son, Isaac, the child of promise. Through Isaac, I would make Abraham's name great and his descendants as numerous as the sand on the seashore. But then came the test. A test not of words, but of trust. I said, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and offer him to me as a sacrifice." I knew what I was asking. I saw the tears that filled his eyes. Yet I also knew the strength of the faith within him, a faith that would shape nations. Abraham did not argue. He did not delay. Early the next morning, he saddled his donkey and began the journey. Each step was heavy, each mile filled with silence. But in that silence, his heart whispered, "God will provide." For 3 days they traveled to the mountain I showed him. When they arrived, Abraham told his servants, "Stay here. My son and I will go up to worship, and we will come back." Even then he spoke in faith. He believed that even if Isaac's life were taken, I had the power to restore it. As they climbed the mountain, Isaac carried the wood for the offering. He asked, "Father, where is the lamb for the sacrifice?" And Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb." Those words were not only for that moment, they were a prophecy of the lamb that would one day be given for the world. At the top of the mountain, Abraham built the altar. He placed the wood in order, bound his son, and laid him upon it. Then, with trembling hands and a heart full of obedience, he lifted the knife. But before the blade could fall, my voice thundered from heaven, "Abraham, Abraham!" He stopped immediately and said, "Here I am." I said to him, "Do not lay a hand on the boy. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld your son from me." Then Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught by its horns in a thicket. He took the ram and offered it in Isaac's place. And he named that place Jehovah-Jireh, the Lord will provide. Because of his obedience, I blessed him greatly. I said, "Because you have done this and have not withheld your son, I will bless you and make your descendants as countless as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore." Abraham's obedience opened the floodgates of my promise, not only for him, but for generations yet to come. My child, do you see what obedience can do? It unlocks blessings you cannot imagine. It connects heaven's promises to earth's reality. Obedience is not about sacrifice, it's about trust. When you obey me, you are saying, "God, I believe you know what's best." Even when the path feels uncertain. Even when what I ask seems difficult. Faith and obedience are never wasted. Abraham could have turned away. He could have questioned my motives. But instead, he trusted that I would be faithful, and I was. The same God who provided for Abraham will also provide for you. When you surrender your will to mine, I take care of the rest. I know there are moments when obedience feels painful, when it means walking away from what you love, releasing what you've held tightly, or stepping into what seems unknown. But remember, I never take without purpose. I never ask for something unless I'm preparing to replace it with something greater. I am your provider. I am your protector. I am the same God who turned Abraham's test into a testimony. If you trust me, I will do the same for you. So do not fear obedience, my child. Do not resist my word. For what you surrender in obedience becomes the soil for miracles. Let your heart say, "Yes, Lord, I will follow you." For in that yes lies peace, purpose, and divine provision. Walk in faith, as Abraham did. And when the road feels steep, remember this truth: I am Jehovah Jireh, the Lord who provides. And for those who obey my voice, I will open doors no man can close. I will bring blessings no one can steal, and I will fulfill every promise I have spoken.